Hey, wonderful, wonderful people. Good morning. And what a beautiful morning it is here in the UK. I'm just looking out the window and just the tree that I kind of sit and take a moment and look out upon in the mornings. And I get to see these incredible changes within that tree, and right now it is just burst with a whole array of yellow to orange to red to golden colours, and the light as well. The light's really soft and you just kind of got all this golden light around it. The wheel turns. The wheel turns indeed. Beautiful. Now, I got asked this last week, Shane, do you believe, if you believe in spirit and you believe in the life after and the afterlife, do you believe that there is, head scratch, head scratch, do you believe there is a higher power? Do you believe there is a higher power? And I've for the last 25, 26, 27 years of, maybe not the first year, I don't know, I was, but innately maybe, but most definitely for the last 25 years have I believed in a higher power wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly I have believed in a higher power. I've believed in something. Just listen, absorb, anchor these important sentences, these important phrases, these important statements. I have believed in something greater than myself. Okay, I've believed in something greater than myself, and wholeheartedly for the last 25 years, without a doubt. So when this question was put to me, that was exactly my kind of response and reply. For sure. The last 25 years, I've really felt that and believed that, and believed that there's something greater than myself, and there's an intelligence out there. But here's another clue: there's an intelligence out there that runs through all things. Hear what I said? There's an intelligence out there that runs through all things. And none of this is by chance. It has such an innate intelligence. It's got to be by design. And we kind of had that conversation, and it was a beautiful conversation. And then I woke up. I woke up the next morning, and I'm laying there, and it was if something had spoken to me, and there was this complete deep understanding of an experience that answered that question very, very firmly, but in such a way that it has such a sense of humour, huge sense of humour, because I just burst out into laughter. At the time I was sitting there alone, and that in itself was funny. But was I alone? There's another question. But the thing is with questions is we've got to be careful that we don't go rushing off to go and discover the answer. You know, it's that whole sense of there we go, whoosh, we've gone, fetching that ball. And I laughed, and here's the thing, let me explain to you. So 8 years ago, my whole world turned upside down. Completely turned on a sixpence. It turned upside down. Very much broke apart in a very forceful and a very powerful way. My goodness, there was so much raw pain, and I experienced so much suffering. It was the one of the hardest times in my life that I have ever experienced. Everything just was broken into so many pieces with so much kind of force, and in amongst all of that, it was deep pain, raw, deep pain. But here's the thing with pain and situations and experiences at that level, the innate often says to me, you know what, it's manure. It's manure for the soul. And I can, with my hand on my heart, look back at that time and absolutely, really see that from those experiences, that I grew the most, and I think everyone else kind of involved in that grew the most, and is looking back on that, and I look back on it with my hand on my heart, with a deep sense of gratitude. But at the time, I would have given anything and everything for that to be different. But where I sit now, and that's I think the experience for so many of us, that where we sit now, we wouldn't go back and change that. And that's profound, and it's huge, because at the time in those experiences, you would have absolutely believed that you would have, and you do, you would have believed that you would never come the other side of it, and we do, and we get stretched the most. Suffering is a powerful motivational force that grows us and stretches us the most. But there's a change, and we talk about that. But it was very raw, and it was such a powerful force that occurred and happened in my life. And in amongst all of that, I was taken into hospital within a week of all that happening and unleashing, and that's probably a good word for it at the time. I was taken into hospital to have major surgery on my right leg, and I was in a position where I was struggling to walk. I think I shared this with some of you before. In this life, in my mid early 20s, I was diagnosed with a rare form of arthritis known as ankylosing spondylitis, and there are people that can experience that, and almost like, it's kind of not there. And I'm sure for them, there's days where they absolutely know it's there. It can be very kind of mild, and it can be very forceful. And for me, it was hugely forceful and grabbed hold of me and beat the living daylights out of me. It beat the shit out of me. But the key was I, in a way, I was fighting it, but of course I was fighting myself. And again, it was a really powerful experience, and a really, really powerful teacher in my life. And we'll talk in future videos about teachers and teaching as we go forwards. But it was, a really powerful teacher in my life, and it literally, it showed me that the only way, and I think it got to a point that, I was literally just beaten up by this condition, that I woke up one morning, and I remember kind of sitting there and knowing, feeling that my only way to move through this was to find grace, and to find a sense of befriending this condition, rather than battling with it and trying to beat it and being angry with it. It stripped so much away from me that I think, for a good couple of years there, I was feeling angry with this condition, and then something just inside of me, and I knew to befriend it. And here's the thing, in befriending it, I befriended myself, and finding peace with it, I found peace with myself. And that's kind of, where I was. So I went into hospital, second leg, and I was in a position where, again, I was, really struggling to walk, unable to walk. I was on 2 walking sticks. I was exhausted walking from me to you, and it was painful. It was hard. So went into hospital, and had the most incredible, compassionate physiotherapist that seemed to drop out of the sky, who sat beside my bed on day one, and took my hand and said to me, "What is it?" She said to me, "What is it that you want from this?" And I said to her, "To walk out of here." She smiled and said, "Right, I'm sure we can do that." It was brilliant. And when it come to being discharged, she said to me, "What do you want to do? Do you want to take the wheelchair, or do you want to take the long walk? Long, slow walk?" And we took the long, slow walk. Some of you know the experience then that I had. As we reached the door, it was a beautiful sunny day, and I remember closing my eyes and just kind of breathing in that sunlight and thinking, my gosh, I've been given another opportunity, and how grateful I am, and how humbled I felt in that moment. And I quietly just closed my eyes and fell into that moment in a very powerful way. And I remember saying, to myself, from this moment on, I will strive to never ever waste another moment. And I tried to keep that close to me, try to keep that experience close to me, and most of the time I absolutely live up to that. And what a gift. And I remember then, coming home and feeling really really raw, and at the time, even though I'd had that beautiful experience, I was feeling very raw and emotional, and I was also grieving a situation at the time, and now it's all good, and I'm very grateful for where things are, and how things turned out. But I was feeling really, really raw, and at those times of immense trauma or pain, or when things have kind of gone wrong at any level, the one thing I could always turn towards was spirit, was the innate. It was a constant. It was a constant in my life for all those years, and at the time, where are we now? So 8, so about 18, 19 years. At the time it had been such a anchor in my life that no matter what's going on, I could always turn to it. And I remember waking up, in hospital, and after the surgery, and ended up having, I think it was 78 metal staples pulling my hip together, and waking up and not feeling a sense of a presence or a sense of the innate with me. It was just kind of silent. It was completely, nothing was there. I thought, it must be the anaesthetic, it's the medication, I just need to give this time, and I come home and feeling raw and in lots of ways, and I woke up the next morning, just like still nothing there, and I woke up the next morning, still nothing there, and I was like, hold on a minute, and I'm searching for that sense of a presence. I'm searching and seeking for that sense of something outside of myself to be there. It's always been reassuring and comforting, and it is, and there was nothing, and as the days went on, that feeling went from shock to complete despair. You imagine, after all those years of every day having a sense of contact, and suddenly that contact is completely stripped away, totally stripped away, totally gone. So I went from, kind of, to it'll be okay, to oh shit, to shock, to agitation, to, do you know what? After all these years of serving you when I need you the most, where the fuck are you? I cannot believe this. Why abandon me now? Why? I was really agitated and kind of scared and frustrated and confused to why would they not be there when I need them the most? That was powerful. And that went on for a good probably a good month or so, that feeling of just, I can't believe you, every day, and just like, would sit there and there's nothing, absolute nothing. I wanted to say, nothing. There was just nothing. And then, a month or so of that, I then kind of woke up and thought, right, Can't rely on that. So what can I rely on? What can I rely on? And I started to figure it out. I started to figure it out. I started to listen to me. I started to listen to me. Those questions that were coming up in my life, those decisions that were needing to be made, I started to listen to me. I started to feel and listen and hear and work out those decisions. I started to trust in me. I started to listen to me. I started to work with that in a very, very big, powerful way. I'd kind of owned it and took ownership of that, took ownership of myself, grabbed and grasped a very, 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 very strong sense of self. And I kind of went from being kind of very broken to feeling like as if I was strengthening and I was expanding and I was growing and I was becoming stronger. And then I become very, very comfortable in that. And it was like a huge sense of relief, and I kind of then understood. I absolutely, totally understood their intention behind their action of completely standing away. Completely just, packing up and moving away from me. I really got it, and this was around about kind of maybe around the 7-month mark along this journey, and at the time I was recovering, so I wasn't consulting. They had chose their timing. It was perfect timing. It was like all engineered and all planned, and around the 7-month mark, I was really in that space, and feeling really kind of feeling very different about so many things, and then I started to think to myself, okay, when what do I do, when it comes to consulting, and by then some emails had been dropping into the old email box, saying, Shane, I know that you've been off, I hope you're having a good recovery. I was like, good recovery, you would never believe it. And hope all is well, and I would like to book a consultation as soon as you're back up and running. And I thought to myself, what am I meant to do? They've disappeared. I haven't felt them. I haven't spoke to them for 7 odd months. What am I meant to do here? And I could not believe it. Within the next month, so it was around about 8 months and moving towards the 9. One morning I woke up and there was a presence there. There was this presence there, standing in the doorway. Classic. Those of you who watched my previous videos about contact, you'll understand that one. Standing in the doorway, it was classic. And I just finished a coffee, and I laughed, and without thinking about it, I just threw the cup towards the door. It's like, can't believe you, how dare you, and I just burst out to laughter, and they turned around and said to me, ready when you are. Ready when you are. Do you know, I couldn't believe it, and at the same time, that is the biggest gift they could ever have given me over those 9 months. Because when we ask that question, is there a higher power? What I come to know, and what I've come to know in the last few weeks of deeply meeting that question, is that what I come to know was that all along, that higher power had been hiding inside of me, as it does with you. You know, I'd believe that there was something greater than me outside of me. I believe that Spirit had all the answers, yet those answers live within inside of you. That higher power absolutely is what runs through all things. We've kind of been duped and conditioned to believe that there's us, then there's this higher power, that heaven is up there and we're here. You know, within these questions within this last week, you know, someone said to me, you know, where's spirit? And where is the spirit world? And the same question in a different way. Maybe it's a different question. But spirit are here. Unless they're hiding from you. But they're here, they're right here. Spirit world is right here. It's a bit like death. Death is like a blink of an eye. One minute you're here, the next you blink and you're still here. You know, which, you know, kind of ask the question, but don't go seeking the answer. Ask the question of, well, if that's the case, then we don't die, absolutely. And were we ever born? Were we ever born? You know, these are profound things that we're exploring. You know, but here's the thing: is all along I realised that all of those answers and that higher power was hiding in me all along. I wish you a beautiful day. Sit with that. Just be present with it. Just be present with it. And I wish you a beautiful day. Keep shining. Until next time.